Well, oh, hey, friends. So, do you how do, beautiful lords, ladies, and gentlemen? This is TNC Live, episode 62. Manny Roman, with me as always.
Hey guys, yeah, we're back. Hopefully, kinda that we think it's working now. It seems like everything is okay at the moment, so we're gonna keep pushing through. But we'll see if my audio is even working. Yes, it is. Cool. So yeah, as Manny and I were talking, what's up?
Big positive.
Yeah, definitely big
When people
positive.
can hear you.
Yeah, so to kind of jump into the what we've been up to, I was kind of stating over the fact that over the last couple days, I was actually down at up at the Wisconsin Dells. It feels weird to be back in a home, four walls, and not in nature no more.
Inside.
So it's definitely nice, but it was a lot of fun. Did a lot of really cool things out there. Went to a bunch of different attractions out in the Dells. Did some axe throwing, which is really dope. That might have been honestly the highlight of the adventure because that was just something I've always wanted to do, and they had a nice little spot right next to our campground. And yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. But into kind of more of the video game side of it, played a decent amount of League of Legends over the last week. Played some Clash last night, actually.
How'd it go?
We crushed them our first game. Crushed them in the second, the next game against the new opponents. We're crushing them. Had the Nexus open, and we kind of just fell apart. We were kind of on two different playing fields. Two of us were like, all right, let's just go end this game. Let's just dive into the Nexus, end it, and we'll be fine. The other three kind of were just trying to focus the objectives a little bit more, and that's kind of where the team fell apart. We could have, taken a little bit slower, ended with the objectives, and probably been fine. But sadly, two of us like, all right, let's go in, and then like they were kind of sitting back a little bit closer to the dragon side of the jungle. The two of us died. They got the dragon. We lost the next team fight just trying to end because some of us were focusing the Nexus and the others just weren't at that point, and that kind of ruined there. We could have ended game and had like 600 to 800 health left for the Nexus, which is like 4 good hits practically with any of us at that point at level 16, 17 area. They beat us there, took down all of our towers, and then the next team fight, they ended game. So it's a lot of fun. We played a lot better than I thought we would because everyone we played against were like all gold, plat players, and we were just a bunch of like high level silvers. So definitely went pretty well. A lot of fun. Outside of that, played some TFT. I'm plat 4 right now. Was really close to plat 3, but kind of just sitting in the middle of plat 4 at the moment. Played a good amount of Valorant. Finally got re-ranked, which is good. Sitting at gold 2. I would love to see if I can get back into gold 3 tonight. If we do have a little bit of a stream going. And then played a good amount of Fall Guys. That was a lot of fun. I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying that game. I thought it'd be a little too much, just like a little mini game thing I'd go play for 15-20 minutes, but we played for a good like hour or two yesterday, and it was kind of like at the end of like the 2 hours where I was like, okay, I'm done.
We played for like 2 hours before you even got there, my guy.
Oh wow, Jesus.
We played like for like almost 4 hours.
That's impressive. I know our buddy Golden got the first dub of the group, feeling good. That was definitely nice. I think my highest place was just being in like the last game, and probably because in that one that he won, I was like the 4th in line pretty much. So definitely have a lot of fun with that. Finished Umbrella Academy season 2 and pretty much watched it twice because before the little camping trip we went on, we actually finished it as well, my girlfriend and I, the 3rd episode of the 10th. So solid show. We'll definitely need to talk about it a little bit and maybe bring you on to TNC movie nights, and we'll have a little review talk about it, which would be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's what I've been up to over the last week. Manny, what have you been up to?
A lot of Fall Guys. Literally, like I would get home from work, jump on my PS4, and play Fall Guys with like actually, thinking about it, I don't know if Sammy ever played with us. I don't think he did. It was Schneeds, Cats, and Mike played a bunch. Played a little bit of Apex on PC, a couple games here and there, just trying to get used to mouse and keyboard. And that game feels so weird compared to compared to a controller. But it's something I'm gonna need to get used to. TFT, a couple games here and there on Monday. That was pretty much it. Escape from Tarkov, I played a few rounds of it on the Monday stream as well. It's one of those games that you just kind of have to, play more just to figure out the kind of ins and outs of the game. Good bit of Valorant when people were around. We played a lot. Yesterday, we played a game, but literally like 10 minutes before this show started.
Heated, bro.
I'm all in.
Heated.
He's so mad. Okay, so it was 11-12. The enemy team had match point, and it was a 1v2 in our favor, and we were playing defense, and the last person didn't have the bomb, and it was on bind.
Yeah.
And the two players on our team knew where they were. They were in the tunnels on B site.
And they both
on our
had
side of the
bomb.
map.
They had bomb in sight.
Bomb was down. They just had to like hold an angle and just kill this killjoy. One of them dies just face checking her. The other one, albeit he had like 30 health going into this, so that didn't help him because he was one shot. But the killjoy comes out, she's reloading, and he gets a good free 15 shots on her and misses all of them. Yeah. And dies. And we lost the game.
It was painful. It was really because I probably would have gone into gold 3 with that game because I know I was gold 2 for like 2 games and I was ready. I was ready to go back to gold 3.
I might have gotten back into silver with that game because we had that game yesterday. I went up like it was like 3 or 4 like green arrows up after that last game into bronze 3, so I might have gotten into silver with that win, or if we went OT and won it. And literally the only reason we lost that game was because we had one person go 10 and 21.
Oof, I know. Don't take a duelist if you don't know how to duel, man.
That's pre-PC. That's pre-working PC me, bro. That's bad.
Totally fair. Yeah, it was definitely rough. Great game. I love that game so much, though. Yeah, it's been a good time over the last week.
I'm gonna be real, dude. I was hurt when I was like, yeah, Valorant's fun, but I'm just kind of like over the game right now. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
okay,
like,
dude.
I'm ready to just keep on grinding.
Bro, I need to.
Until I hit diamond at some point, will I be like, okay, I can take a step back. But until I hit at least diamond, I'm nah. Because I was like P2 at one point, like bottom of the barrel, just hit P2 and then dropped out really quick. But I need that diamond in my life, man. I really just need it.
Peace out. I feel that. Anyways, we got a lot of stuff to talk about with you guys this week. Throughout the show, though, just keep in mind our listener topic for this week that we're going to be talking about later in the show. Who was the first YouTuber that you heavily followed that got you into YouTube? So give us your answers in chat throughout the show, or go comment on our Facebook post throughout the show, and we will read your guys' responses near the end of the show. So, once we wrap up what we've been up to, we always jump into the
Top 5 gaming news stories of the week. Number 1.
Our first story of the week. Thursday, Sony had its most recent State of Play presentation and gave us a glimpse of what's still yet to come in the waning months of the PS4 and some more games that are going to be coming to the PS5. So it was actually probably the biggest State of Play that we've had so far. It was a little over 40 minutes. I was really surprised by that. I was kind of hoping for bigger announcements. There wasn't any like big. There wasn't anything huge to come from this. So they started the show talking more about Crash 4. They showed off a lot of the gameplay of it. They explained how the entire game is going to be playable with Crash or Coco, so you can play with either character. There's going to be missions you're going to be able to play as the Dingo Dial, which is huge value. Some you're going to be able to even play as Cortex, which is very interesting. So there's going to be different playable characters throughout the game. There's going to be skins that you're going to be able to earn throughout by playing the game and things like that. They're all going to be earned through the game, though. They've said there's no microtransactions in this game. It's all going to be stuff you earn by playing the game, which I think is great. Outside of that, they did explain. So, for those of you that are fans of the original Crash series, Apu Apu the mask and how he like makes you invulnerable and all this. There's apparently going to be 4 different masks in the game this time around that are each going to do different things to the game. For example, there's one that's going to slow time around you. There's going to be one that reverses gravity and things like that. So there's going to be kind of unique changes to the way the game plays because of the different masks and things like that. And then the last thing they talked about with Crash was there's going to be what's called an inverted mode, which actually looks really cool. It's just going to be a different way to play the game. The levels are going to kind of have their own cool, unique like art style to them. The example they showed for one of them was the entire thing is white, like everything is white on your screen, and you have to like when you spin, it like creates color, and that helps you see what like everything around you, unless you see like enemies, and makes it more obvious where they are. So a cool, unique spin on the game to kind of give people that are like completionists. That's what they said. Give completionists another way to play the game and keep them coming back to playing the game more and more. Did you ever play the original Crashes?
No, I'll be honest. This is one of those games growing up that I just never. I don't know. I never enjoyed platformers, to be honest. The first platformer I ever got into was Little Big Planet, probably, and still never even got like super into that. But I mean, I get like it does look so beautiful. Like, I was kind of surprised like how much better the game is starting to look, because I felt that, I don't know, like the remaster of the 2 or 3 games that came out a couple years ago, I was like, doesn't look much better. But this generally does look really nice for a platforming for a PS5 system. I generally think this will be very good. I do wish Adam was here to talk about it, because I know he loves the Crash games. So sadly, the one episode he's missing this week this month will be the Crash episode.
Yeah, all the Crash news, right?
Oh yeah.
So the game's coming out October 4th. I'm on the fence about it because I loved the Crash games growing up. I literally have Crash Bandicoot 1 sitting in my dresser there for the original PlayStation, because I never wanted to get rid of it, and we've gotten rid of a lot of games over the years, but I still have the original Crash and Crash 2 sitting in there, because those are like my favorite games growing up. So it's something I might have to play to see, if they kind of keep that same feel to the game as the originals had. It sounds like that's kind of what they're going for. It's that they're trying to keep the core gameplay feeling the same, with just adding kind of modern touches here and there. And apparently, from a lot of the reports I've seen, this game's actually going to be really long. Like, there's going to be tons and tons of levels to it. So it's definitely something to look forward to. I'm on the fence about it because I feel like I've kind of grown out of playing those like just 2D platforming games, but maybe this game will change my mind. Moving on to some of the other announcements, one thing that the next game they actually talked about, which I thought was pretty interesting, was Hitman 3. They talked a little bit about it. They showed a little bit of gameplay that was from VR. So they announced that Hitman 3 is going to be playable in its entirety in VR, and it's coming out in January 2021. They talked about a couple other games. Braid Anniversary Edition. It's a re-release of a game. I think it came out around 2008. It was like a 2D platformer. The Pathless. They actually spent a good time talking about the Pathless. Showed off some gameplay. It seems pretty interesting. It's a game it's like an open world adventure game that has a big emphasis on like movement and fast movement and things like that. So it kind of gives me like a Legend of Zelda vibe, but just a different. Like, it doesn't focus on just like the combat. It focuses on the movement as like to complement the combat, which is kind of a different spin on it. They talk about Spelunky 2, how it's going to have online multiplayer, a JRPG that they've talked about a lot on the PlayStation blog, Genshin Impact. They showed off a little bit of gameplay for that. A new game, Aeon Must Die. A game called Anno Mutation. Bug Snacks, which that game looks really goofy, and like it's gonna be one of those games that's full of like humor and just silliness. But the gameplay actually looked really cool and interesting. The first trailer, they just showed off a bunch of different bug snacks and what they look like. But this time around, they kind of explained a little bit of what the game's going to feel like and how you're actually going to be, like, sort of rebuilding this, like, town. And I don't remember the name of the town. But they're going to be, like, rebuilding this town by doing, like, research and things like that on these bugs. So it actually seems like it's going to be pretty interesting.
It seemed very kind of like an Animal Crossing to me. It has the aspect of, rebuilding like a city almost, but it kind of still also has that like cutesy vibe to it. It's really goofy, and like the gameplay, it did seem like a lot of fun. All the different traps and stuff like that you could set up to catch these different types of creatures, and then at the end they have this giant one at the end, so it seems like there's gonna be like much more difficult things to catch rather than just these little tiny traps you put down and so on from there. But it did definitely look like a pretty fun game, honestly.
Yeah, so next couple of games that they touched on there, Star Wars Darth Immortal, which is that Star Wars VR game that's like all lightsaber battles with Darth Vader in it too. It looks really good. It was one of those games that when they first talked about like HTC Vive and those computer-based VR kits, that was like the big draw to it because it looks so good for a VR game. They showed off a little bit of gameplay of that. They announced the next expansion for Control, which based on the ending of it, is going to involve Alan Wake in some way. For those of you who don't know, the people who made Control, Remedy, were the people who made Alan Wake back on the 360. And they've talked about that game coming back in some capacity. So I'm curious if this is going to be the capacity to them bringing back Alan Wake, or if it's going to be like, hey, this is Alan Wake. Now we're going to come back once we see the positive response and be like, hey, here's another Alan Wake game or something like that.
I think I would love to see them at the end of the DLC, whether it's like Alan Wake is a playable character or someone that kind of just joins you for another side type of thing. And at the end of it, they announce like that there's a new Alan Wake game coming. I think that'd be a really cool way to do it, have an announcement in the DLC of the game. But yeah, I think that is a really interesting way for them to kind of bring in a character, because it is you could tie those kind of universes together. So I think that is a very cool way to do that.
Yeah, and that's apparently what they're trying to do, is like they're gonna make like this kind of interconnected universe with the games that they've made, apparently, which I think is a really cool idea. Because in the trailer, they also talk about how important like light is, and the entire premise of Alan Wake is there's these like weird shadow things, and when you shine light on them, that's when you defeat the enemies and things like that. So really, really cool announcement. I think it'll be a fun little expansion, a fun reintroduction to Alan Wake and what he's all about. The next thing they talked about, and the reason I like highlighted this one in our show prep, Auto Chess is going to be coming to the PS4 on Halloween this year. And when I saw the trailer for it, I'm like, is this just a TFT ripoff?
No, this game actually is
and then
a
I'm like,
game.
yeah, and then and then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's Auto Chess. This is the game that made League of Legends or TFT, so actually really, really cool get for PlayStation. I'm actually gonna try it at some point because I'm curious to see, this genre where its roots came from.
I'm really curious as how it'll play on a PlayStation, because I played a lot of this game on my phone. Like when TFT came out, I was like, I need more Auto Chess, I need more. And I downloaded like 2-3 more, and this is the only one that I actually kind of kept playing for a bit. My only real issue that I had with it is the reason I love TFT so much is because it's characters I know and care about. So it's cool being like, I really like Syndra, so I'm going to make her my carry. Or I really like Master Yi, I'm going to make him my carry. This game's you just don't connect with the characters at all, so that's kind of the thing that took me away from it a little bit. It plays really well. Like, it's a really good system. They have a lot of different characters and like factions of characters and stuff like that really play very well together. So it is a very, very good game, though.
After that, a really cool a game with a really cool art direction. They showed off a game called the Pedestrian, and it's like a 2D platformer. What's kind of cool about it is so imagine a road sign, and like it's a pedestrian road sign, like the person walking. You basically play as that pedestrian in that road sign, and you're like navigating through these cities and these platforming levels through these road signs, and how they're like they all go interconnected, and it seems really it's one of those games that's really cool, unique idea. I think if you're a fan of platformers, it's definitely something you'd be interested in, or if you're a fan of a really cool art style and cool art direction, because that game definitely is something that'd be up your alley at that point. Last 3 games I talked about, all really cool announcements to me at least. They talked about a game called Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. That's going to be coming to the PS5 next year, and it's a spin on the Robin Hood Legends. You and 3 other people create this band of outlaws, and there's apparently going to be a class system, and different classes are going to be specializing in different things, whether it's melee combat, ranged combat, or anything else. And the way it works is, there's a planning phase, and you and your team plan out this heist, and then you go and execute it and try to steal this, treasure, whatever, for the people, like Robin Hood does. But the twist on it is there's another team of 4 trying to execute the same heist as you. So it's like a PvEVP game where you're trying to complete this heist while also competing with another team at the same time. And it's really cool. The trailer for it was awesome. And there's a blog post on the PlayStation blog that outlines the gameplay and things like that.
Yeah, I was getting really excited, honestly, while watching this game. It gave me, I don't really want to say like Albion, but it's sort of like an Albion mixed with like For Honor, but better designed. Because, it does kind of have like the hack and slash, Elder Scrolls, or For Honor type combat. However, it has the really cool aspect of the PvP and PvE, where there is reward and risk to it. Like, you can get the great treasure and stuff, and you have to win the combat, which I think is really cool. It's going to really bring in some really interesting ways to like just play that game. So it's definitely a game I want to keep on my radar myself, that honestly before looking at the state of play, I didn't even know was being made.
Yeah, for me that was honestly probably the coolest announcement for a game like I hadn't seen before. Not just because I love Robin Hood, but it seems like it's a cool, unique twist on, like, I told you before the show, it feels like a Payday 2, which if you ever played Payday 2, you know how great that game is. It's really fun. It feels like it's gonna be a Payday 2 mixed with, a PvP game, all in one. So really cool, unique spin. I really like the idea of like the PvEVP games, so I think it's gonna be really fun. The last couple games they talked about, we had Temtem.
Good old Temtem.
The Creature Collection Extravaganza. Temtem. Started as a Kickstarter campaign on eventually was made for Steam and PC. It's finally going to be coming out on consoles. It got announced for a PS5 release next year. And if I remember right, they just recently added a whole new island to the game, so they're still, hard at work adding more content to that game. And they just recently added clubs as well to kind of add to the fun. But I like that announcement. I like it.
I do too. And the funny thing is, when I first saw this, I was like, why? Like, why do they need this? Like, you can just go play Pokemon. I'm like, oh.
No, they
can't play Pokemon. So I really do like that. Consoles or PS5. I'm guessing probably Xbox too will finally get somewhat of a Pokemon experience. I'll be honest. I played Temtem for probably about like 5-ish hours or so. It is a lot of fun. My issue was it just came out right when Sword and Shield was about to come out, and I got really into that. And then I got my fix for a Pokemon creature collection type of game. This is something like this is a game I'll pick up again eventually. Where it's it's like, oh, it's February, I don't know what to play. Temtem, like so.
Temtem,
stuff
bro.
like that will happen.
We start up a TNC club and we go take over Temtem, bro.
Take over Temtem. The
There
game
it is.
it plays really well. The visuals of the combat is great when it comes to the creatures. They do a good job of keeping it just a little different than Pokemon, but some similarities here and there. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a true MMO, like that's the kind of experience everybody's wanted in a Pokemon game, right? And we sorta got that in Sword and Shield with the wild area a little bit, but this game, it's full online server, like MMO.
Yeah.
That's the kind of experience people have wanted from Pokemon. And that's honestly one thing that I really like about Temtem is that it's the same style of game as Pokemon, but it's doing things that people have wanted from a Pokemon game, but Nintendo just hasn't done for whatever reason. They added like a structured competitive battling system. It's a true MMO experience. They have these clan club systems. A lot of things that could really elevate Pokemon for people long term, instead of making it a game you play the 8 gyms and you're like, I guess I'm done.
Yeah.
It takes the game and it gives it a longer shelf life and keeps people's interest more than what they're doing right now. I mean, the expansion I've heard was cool, but I also heard it was 3 or 4 hours to complete.
Yeah.
The first expansion for Sword and Shield. And the game itself, people were beating Sword and Shield in under 10 hours. So your game's not gonna have much of a shelf life if you don't have content.
Yeah, for some people to beat the main game and the DLC in about 15 hours, that's what I love about a game like Temtem, because you can go put 500 hours in and still be like, I got stuff to do. So that's like the really cool thing with Temtem, and I'm very excited that it will be coming out to again PlayStation. I'm guessing just the console experience.
Also player housing. I just clicked it.
Yeah.
Temtem also has player housing and stuff like that. There's just a lot more there than just catching mons and fighting mons and leveling mons, and that's it.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a
story for another
rant. That's a rant for when we're not doing our show. Does not help. It's stupid easy. Yeah, exactly. That and that's kind of another part of it, is that the barrier entry to Pokemon is very, very low now, that's their target audience is kids with all of their stuff. That's why all of their exclusives, I think they're worst exclusive in terms of graphic content is Bayonetta, and I think that's a teen rated game. Maybe not even teen rated. But anyways, we're gonna wrap up State of Play here. The last game they talked about was Godfall again. We finally got some actual gameplay. They showed off how the gameplay is going to work a little bit. They showed off different weapon types. They talked about how there's going to be different class types that specialize in different armor types. One thing that I did, and this didn't really click with me until a lot of people started talking about it on social media and things like that, was the game looks great and it looks like it's going to play really cool, but it seems like it's going to be very, very linear, and it's not going to really be open at all. And watching the trailer and watching the gameplay, I kind of noticed the same thing. Every time they show off gameplay of the game, you're just walking through corridors and walking through these paths, and there's no exploration. There's nothing else to it. So that is something that once I kind of read up on it more, it kind of caught my attention and has me a little worried about the game, is that there's not going to be a lot to it. It's going to be very linear.
Before I jump into that, I just want to say Bayonetta is actually rated M. I'm looking online.
Rated M. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. They have an M-rated exclusive
too, but yeah, no, I just was really curious then as well. The more I watch about Godfall, the less interested I am in that game. The first time I heard about it, I was like, ooh, this is dope. I love Borderlands. It's going to be a another loot game, very heavy on the loot. And then the more I realize it's just kind of like Dark Souls, or it's less Dark Souls combat because it's a lot less.
It's a lot actiony. It's a lot more actiony and fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's very action based. It's very forgiving in the combat. So I don't know. It really is doing a thing for me. It's very like Assassin's Creed, I guess, maybe with the combat. Very like, oh, block, parry, attack that person. This person here is attacking me. It's very basic in the combat system. And then also it seems like it's a very just smash a button over and over, because part of the gameplay they saw like really cool combat. This person like hits with the sword and flips over and hits him again with the sword, but they just keep doing that over and over and over. And I'm like, okay, so that's going to get really lame really quick. So I don't know. Cool concept. I love looter games. I really enjoy Borderlands. Destiny had a very cool loot system when it all kind of started. And I don't know. I feel like this game is going to be one of those games that gets really hyped up because it's, a big release and then just falls flat. Everyone forgets about it in like 2 years. So
it could happen. It could. I'm hoping they're just not showing off a lot about the game.
Yeah.
Right now, because a lot of stuff they showed has kind of felt like the same thing over and over in terms of like the environments and things like that. I hope that's not the case. I hope there's more varied environments and that there's a little more openness to the game. But it's something we're gonna just have to keep waiting and seeing on. I mean, the game comes out in a couple months. It's supposed to be a launch title for the PS5. It's going to be the first PS5 exclusive really that's out there. Unless Sony still has something in their back pocket, which, we talked about a week or two ago, and they're supposed to apparently have something left to show us outside of just giving us the release date and the price point of the system. So it's definitely something to keep tabs on. And, with Godfall, it might right now it's feeling like something I'm going to have to wait and see on before I buy it, instead of like a launch day buy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just getting more and more upset with this game, and it just sucks because I was so excited. But yeah, we'll definitely see. I mean, there could be some great stuff to come out of it. I do hope Sony has some huge, just big explosion release for us. Hell, even if it's a new Killzone, which I know didn't keep going with the community, but I would just love something that would just be like, oh damn, okay. All right, Sony, we see you. But right now we're like, yeah, the PlayStation 5 is coming out, and no one cares.
Spider-Man looks great.
Spider-Man, like other than Spider-Man, no game will be perfect on the PS5 to start. You'll be downloading Fortnite, you'll be downloading Apex, you'll be downloading Call of Duty Warzone, and that's all you'll be playing. So
Fall Guys.
I was gonna say Fall Guys on there too. Yeah.
There we go.
Gonna be it. You're gonna be playing a bunch of free games. Not gonna want to buy anything on the new system. Might as well just keep playing the PS4. So, yeah. Alrighty.
Number 2.
Yeah, all in all, for that being their longest state of play that they're just to say, for that being their longest state of play that they've done, it was kind of uneventful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't anything huge to come out from it. Again, I think that Hood game looks really cool, and I like the Temtem announcement. And Crash is looking really good, but outside of that, there's just a lot of games that didn't really I'm like, I gotta buy that game day one. Anyways, did we already transfer to number 2?
I'll go and hit it again.
Number 2.
Oh, number 2. So, Rocksteady, the studio behind the beloved Batman Arkham franchise, has finally announced its next project, which is not a new installment in the Batman franchise. They took to Twitter to post an image of Superman with a target on his head and teased that they're working on a Suicide Squad game and that more information will be given August 22nd at DC's big Fan Dome event.
I'll be honest, I hear the idea of a Suicide Squad game and I'm like, meh. But I have to give it to Rocksteady that these Batman games have been fan-freaking-tastic. I know it wasn't Arkham Knight. I think that's what it was. Arkham Knight was the last one.
Yes, and it's been 5 years since that game came out.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah, and I know like the game got good reviews. I know there was a lot of complaints about stuff like, oh, you're in the Batmobile the whole game. Funny enough, I just was watching Penguin's Critical stream the game over the last like week now, so I've been rewatching a lot, and I've played Arkham City and Asylum, and they're fantastic experiences. I know I'm not like, oh yay, Suicide Squad, but I'm gonna kind of wait because Rocksteady does really good with these games. Like, they make the story so compelling, and you guys know I don't like story games. I don't care about them, but also makes it a little bit easier when it is a DC property or a Marvel property. I'm like, okay, I care about this stuff. So I'm intrigued. I am a little intrigued.
I'm just curious what direction they're gonna go with the game. Is it gonna be one of those things where it's like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance, where you can play as one of the different characters in the Suicide Squad, or is this game going more of the new Marvel Avengers game, where it's gonna be like, like everything's co-op or single player. You can play with like up to 3 or 4 other people and have your own like Suicide Squad doing all these cool missions and things like that. Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of my big thing with it. I want to know what direction they're taking the game, because for me, if it's gonna be a Suicide Squad game, I feel like going the route of the Avengers game might be better for it than going the Batman Arkham games route.
I can agree where it's like you're this character in this story. I would love to be a kind of transitional, constant squad. I mean, you're a Suicide Squad. It's supposed to be a group of you going on these deadly suicide missions. So I agree with you. I think that would be a very great way for them to go about this game.
But we'll have to wait. August 22nd, so a couple weeks away. DC is apparently hosting a huge event that's just covers everything in the DC universe, from the TV shows to the movies to the games. And there's going to be like hundreds of guests at this huge event it's apparently free for anyone to watch. So if that's something you're interested in, and you want to know more about the new Rocksteady game that's going to be the Suicide Squad game, tune into that DC event.
Number 3.
Number 3, Apex Legends Season 6 trailer dropped, introducing the new character Rampart. Honestly, she's a little like, just the profile of her is kind of similar to Killjoy in Valorant. She's this tech mechanic person. I don't know if they've actually shown her abilities yet. In the trailer, I think if I remember right, they showed her like shooting a turret or something like that. So I'm curious if that's gonna be part of her kit, or if that's gonna be like her ult. She drops like this remote turret that people can use. We'll see. They haven't given out tons of details quite yet. I know this new season is gonna come in a week or two, so we're sure to get full details of the season soon. But there were 2 things of note to come out. Well, actually, 3 of note to come out about Apex in the past week or so since they showed off the trailer. One, they're introducing a crafting mechanic to the game, and when you go to the like little recap of season 6 where they have the trailer on EA's website, it just says, "Don't like your gear? Collect materials around the map and build something better." So I'm curious if that means you're going to be able to collect things to upgrade your armor and things like that, instead of having to find it. Or if maybe, honestly, that to me it'd be interesting if that was just how you upgrade your stuff.
Yeah.
Is by, just scavenging. And, that's how you upgrade your backpack, upgrade your armor, upgrade your helmet, and things like that. And you have to kind of pick and choose what you upgrade and what you feel like is best for you in that moment. I feel like that'd be a really cool dynamic. I don't know how I'd feel about it in a battle royale setting, but I like that they're doing something very different and something that, other battle royale games aren't doing, and that's changing the way their game plays.
My concern is I'm a little worried this is going to become a little too much like Hyperscape's upgrade system. That's my only concern about this. Not that it's a bad system, it's a cool system, but I don't want to see them copy it. I'd rather kind of see them maybe take ideas from it, collecting the same thing, maybe upgrades it or something. I'd rather see them do something slightly different to make it a little more fresh and different than just, copying what the new Battle Royale is doing. So it's interesting. I did just re-download Apex myself. It seems like we get super into this game every other season. We take like a season off. Every like even season we go like plat, diamond, practically almost levels, and we're like, yeah, this is our game for the next 3 months. And we grind
and then we get distracted.
Yeah, like we grind it out, and then something new comes out. Like I know what's gonna happen. I can already tell you. We're gonna get back into this game. We're gonna play it through August, September, October, and then the new WoW expansion will drop, and I'll get really into that. Or the new League season
Cyberpunk will be soon.
Cyberpunk will be pretty much out. So like something will stop us from playing it as much. But I'm excited. Like I'm open to dedicating about a month or two to this game and just grinding it out and seeing where we can get. I'm only level 8.5, so I do have a couple more games until I can play ranked. But at least it'll let me kind of get back into the swing of things. So it'll be good.
Yeah. So our days free: 6 hours of Valorant, 6 hours of Apex.
Love it.
Great day.
Yeah, it's perfect. And then those same days I'll just work my 9 hours, and I'll sleep for a couple hours.
I said our free days, silly.
Every day.
Our not free days. It's gonna be 2 hours. It's true, America, baby. Our not free days is gonna be 2 hours of Valorant, 2 hours of Apex.
There we go. We
Practice.
got it all set and ready.
There you go.
Perfect.
You gonna play Apex after? Maybe. Me and Brandon were actually talking about playing a lot of Valorant today, though, Matt. So if you're around, dude, we kind of want to grind some Valorant.
Yeah, I did say though I want to grind Valorant, and the other game I'd be open to playing would be Apex today.
That is what he said.
Yeah. So I'm open to both. I would love to get some more Valorant in though. I really want to hit gold 3 before the end of the day. So would be nice. Would be really exciting. Are you ready to move on, Manny?
No, we have two other things.
Okay.
One, the new weapon called the Volt. It just says, shocking new weapon, Volt. Charge into battle with an energy SMG that packs a punch. So, that makes you really intrigued about the new weapon, because as somebody who really got good with the R99 when we were grinding that game out, it'll be interesting to see an energy weapon as an SMG. Like, is this thing gonna just take over the meta? Because energy weapons tend to feel really strong.
Yeah.
Once you get past the charge time on an energy weapon, that thing shreds. Or is it gonna be made a little weaker because they recognize how like energy weapons have been typically really strong when they come out? I don't know. I honestly hope the Volt just becomes the new standard short range gun.
Please, man, please. I love the short to mid range guns in that game are fantastic. So I'm really excited to kind of see what happens. I'd love to see when we get back into this game, the meta is more of a close mid range meta. Would be really cool. Quick little announcement for us. The reason I was checking over my phone just then is Adam, a buddy from the show, of course. He went out to go get a kitten today.
That's what he was talking about.
And he got 2 kittens.
He got 2 kittens.
Got Jinx and Spyro. So I'm sure we'll see some photos on the Instagram and Facebook probably later this week or maybe even later today if we're lucky. So yeah, just a little announcement. I'll let him talk about him, I'm sure, more next time when he's back on the show next week. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be fun there. Maybe we'll get to see him on the show. The little kittens, dude. I'm excited now. This will be good. Be a good time.
Cat cam confirmed.
Please. That'd be great.
So the last thing, and this isn't confirmed information, but somebody did take a screenshot of something that they saw in the trailer for season 6. and they like blew up the image and like pointed out to people, it looks like there's gonna be a compound bow added to the game for season 6, and you can find images of this all over Twitter. Like somebody freeze framed the trailer, and you can see floor loot that shows like it looks exactly like a compound bow. So that would be a really, really cool addition to the game. That would be another thing that kind of like brings people back in, just because it's a refreshing, experience for the game, outside of adding this whole crafting system that we'll hopefully learn more about soon. But a lot of cool little tidbits of info here for Apex Season 6.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm very excited to get back into this, and hopefully we do kind of get that grind going again for PC. But here we go.
Number 4.
Number 4. Crystal Dynamics made a special announcement for their upcoming game, Marvel's Avengers, that has left some gamers a little disappointed. So they announced that their version of Spider-Man will be a playable character in the Avengers only on PlayStation consoles. So, as somebody who owns a PlayStation console and will be playing this game on a PlayStation console, cool. Hype. I was hoping for Spider-Man in this game. We're gonna get it. For people that are Xbox gamers, like, I would understand if you're disappointed. If you're somebody that plays on PC, I'd understand if you're disappointed. But I have a PlayStation, so like, for me, I'm like, okay, cool.
I am on the side right now of like, okay, cool, that's awesome. But what's gonna happen if it's like PC players get like Deadpool, or I mean, I don't know how crazy they're gonna go with the characters. It's a Marvel character who has some ties with the Avengers, but then if it's like, oh hey, Xbox gets Wolverine, it's like, oh come on. Like I would be annoyed if it's like each one gets their own exclusive, and not because I'm like, oh, only Sony can have the exclusive. It just sucks. It really sucks, because I'm sure other characters will be out on other systems, and we'll just not get to play maybe our favorite character or a really cool character because the system we chose to buy or the PC that we're on.
So the only reason I wouldn't anticipate that is we know that Sony and Marvel have that partnership with for Spider-Man. So
which is fair.
I can't imagine this isn't what that is. It's
okay.
Sony saying like, hey, like, we'd love to have Spider-Man in Avengers, but you can only put it on our systems. Like, I feel like that has to be what this is.
Okay.
So I wouldn't anticipate this happening with other systems and characters being exclusive to other systems for this game. I think it's just more of a matter of circumstance with the partnership that those two companies have. It is unfortunate that it is only going to be playable on PlayStation platforms for the people that play on other platforms. But I like, from a business perspective, like, I see why this happened and why it's happening the way it is. It's because, those companies are working together with Spider-Man, So, unfortunate for those of you that are going to miss out on it. But also, the reason Sony did this is because they want to be like, hey, come get a PS4. Hey, come get a PS5. We got Spider-Man. You like Spider-Man? So do we. We got Spider-Man on PlayStation.
Yeah, we'll kind of touch on a little bit more later in the show our thoughts on exclusivities and all that good stuff, but meh. I don't know. Well, I'll hold back for now. All right.
Number 5.
Fifth and final story. Honestly, I just wrote the story in here because of how huge this game has become. I don't really have... Actually, there are a couple, like, tidbits that we can talk about regarding the game. But Tuesday saw the gaming community fall in love with the newest Battle Royale game to hit the scene, and that's Fall Guys. So if you do not know what this game is yet, you haven't gotten a chance to check it out. 60-person Battle Royale game. But now imagine that Battle Royale game is combined with Mario Party. Or Fusion Frenzy, if you ever played those games back on like the original Xbox. So you're competing with 59 other people in a series of mini games to be the last person standing to win this Battle Royale game. And the games range from obstacle courses to
Team
puzzles, memory puzzles, to team games. Like there's pretty much a soccer game in it. I believe there's roughly 30 from what I've seen. There's supposed to be around 30 mini games in the game that are randomized, and the game randomly selects one, and it knocks out, I believe it's like 20% of the lobby each round, and so you have to be one of the first people to qualify to make it to the next round, and then when it's anywhere from 19 to 5 or 6 people, it goes to a final stage where you fight for the crown, which ends up being an in-game currency that you can spend on cosmetics and things like that. I love this game, man. I love this game. So this game had a rocky start, and it did have issues with server size and things like that for the first couple days. But in this studio's defense, Mediatonic, they're an independent studio. Like, they were able to get this game published through Devolver, who's a really big publisher for indie games. But this is an indie studio that's never made an online game before. And to anticipate having over 1 million people trying to play your game day one is an impossible thing to prepare for. So, for me, I'm totally fine being patient and having this game and having the servers be ready for the amount of people playing this game. There's been over 2 million people playing this game already in the first 4 or 5 days.
Which is nuts. And this game deserves it. Like, this game... I heard about this game, and I was like, meh, sounds goofy and just, I don't know, it's not my thing. And that was before I saw any videos for it. And then I saw videos of this game. I'm like, okay, yep, I'm in. I'm sold. I haven't even touched this game yet. Haven't even thought about playing it. Oh, cool, it's free on PS4. I'm in. I don't care. Take my money. I not only did I buy the regular edition, I bought the special edition on Steam to get the extra currency and stuff like that. So I'm all in. It's a good time. It's simple, but it's intense. Like, you really get into it, and you just find yourself yelling at the game and other people a lot.
And it's one of those games that, even though it's not, co-op on the same system, you can play with a party of 4 people and go into a game together. And it's one of those games where, I had plenty of games where I got out in the first round. I probably had as much fun watching the events unfold of the game than playing it. Like, it's one of those games it's a fun experience that, everyone can have fun with together. And it's just so unique to see something like that and in the genre that it's in, and seeing it just thrive from day one. It's got the 40 level free battle pass. You earn currency and stuff like that, and earn crowns, which is a second currency just by playing the game. So they made this really awesome experience and made it very, very accessible to people, because it's free with PlayStation Plus right now. So if you have a PS4, you can download the game for free if you have Plus. And they made the barrier to entry low, and made it's just fun. You can be terrible at the game but still have a great time, just because it's one of those fun, exciting party games.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is one of those games that it's really easy to go play with your friends. It's something that brings your friend groups back together if you guys haven't had a game to play. And it's simple. Once you learn how to play and stuff, you'll start to get better and better, and it is a lot of fun. All of us kind of had our own little competition about who would get our first dub, and our boy Golden who was on the show last week, Zuku Zero, brought in the crowd last night, and it was a lot of fun. It's a really good time. I would definitely recommend, if you have not played Fall Guys yet, please go play this game. And outside of the game itself being so fantastic, their Twitter.
I was just gonna bring up their social media presence is chef kiss. It's so good. So in the 5 days that this game has been out, they've gone from like 15,000 followers to, I literally have it right here, 413,000 followers. Like that's how hyped people have been, not only on this game but like on the content that they put out.
Oh yeah.
And content creators are eating up their content too. Like they tweeted out early this morning, you know how you guys have like variety streamers, Fortnite streamers, and like Rocket League streamers and stuff? Like, is anyone a Fall Guys streamer yet? And they give you the eyeball emoji. And then guys like GoCarnage are like, add a couple things to the game and we'll talk. And so one of the funniest things that I saw from their social media was they added the Cyberpunk official Twitter, and they were like, hey, like, how would you feel about a Fall Guys Cyberpunk collab? And or no, they asked, how many retweets do I need to get a Cyberpunk Fall Guys collab? And they're like, 2077 question mark? And Cyberpunk just goes, one, only one.
I love it.
So then they put out a tweet like, guys, we need one person to follow us and only one. Stop at one. And the legal department's like, we have checked and it does clearly say one retweet. And it's just a super fun back and forth. And then the Witcher official Twitter account is like, hey, but like, DM us and we can do something too. So like, it's just super cool to like the good vibes that this game has already brought to like the gaming community in general is fantastic. And it's a super fun and infectious game. From the music to the gameplay and the mini games and all that, it's a great experience.
I gotta give it to them. I mean, no company coming from like an indie platform expects to be this popular. And not only have they done so well with their game, and it's so enjoyable, but they've really just been such great sports in the just community as well. And if anyone is going to get big, I'm glad it was a company like this. They're just destroying it. More props to them than we can say anything with. I'm just watching so many little Fall Guy Twitter videos right now, and I'm just like, I love this game.
So Matt did notice it looks like we're dropping frames on stream, I think.
Yes, we are. Maybe that's because I pulled up Twitter and have the videos playing on there. That definitely could be it. We'll go ahead and see in the next minute or so. Yeah, because the whole stream has been really good. Yep, we just dropped down from the amount of frames that we were dropping. It was up to 90%. Now it's down to 40%. So closing that seemed like it helped a lot. We'll definitely hope that it kind of starts getting better from there. The whole show's been like 16, so
we'll have to go and find our fun Fall Guy memes later.
We will.
So again, if it's not something you've checked out yet, I would highly recommend looking into Fall Guys. Whether that's on Steam for $20 or, again, if you have PlayStation Plus, it's free to download right now. Highly recommend checking out. It's a really fun time. Grab a couple buddies, jump in a party chat, and just have fun with it. Like it's a good time, and it's a really like low skill cap game. It's 3 buttons you have to remember outside of the movement. So really fun time. Lots of laughs, lots of good times already. So that is gonna do it. Yeah. So that's going to do it for our top 5 gaming news stories of the week. Normally I send it to Brandon, but we don't do that anymore. So we're sticking here with games, and I was just going to spend a few minutes, talking about my experience so far with the Avengers beta, which I just realized I never mentioned in the what I've been up to. So here you go. I spent like 2 hours this morning playing the Avengers beta that was live this weekend for PlayStation 4 pre-orders. So the little bit I played, you jump in and it just says play, and you just jump in and then it takes you to the story missions that are a part of the beta. And the first mission is the mission on the San Francisco Bridge. That's like kind of the intro mission to the game that they've showed off multiple times. And playing that mission was really fun. You get to play as everybody and get to learn their skills a little bit, like and see how they play. Thor is really fun, man. I literally just sat there just spamming, throwing Mjolnir at people and calling it back and throwing it again and calling it back. And it was hilarious. It was fun. Iron Man, the flying felt a little, the aiming when you're flying as Iron Man felt a little wonky. Like, it was so hard for me to hit people because it was a little sensitive, which was kind of, I feel like if they tighten that up or make it a little bit easier to aim, I feel like that might go a little bit better, because as of right now, having to control his flying and having to aim with a really sensitive reticle is kind of hard. Especially playing on a normal difficulty. Outside of that, Hulk is really fun to play, and you get to play a lot of Hulk in the beta. Black Widow, her fight with Taskmaster that they showed in one of their first gameplay reveals is really fun as well. Her kit is really cool. Captain America, fine, he's cool, he's all right. He's kind of boring to play with personally. That's just me. Like, I don't know. I guess Captain America has never done it for me like a lot of people. Like, he's fine. He's cool. He's alright. He's the guy that just takes charge. That's pretty much it. Doesn't do a whole lot. He's got a shield he smacks people with. That's fine. But a little boring to play with. When I can be Thor and call down lightning and throw my hammer at people, and be Hulk and grab the ground and throw ground at people, and that's my ranged attack, and just go smashing everything. Like, Cap just felt a little boring, but that's just me. Got to play a little bit of Kamala. I'm actually playing the mission that she is in. That's where I kind of stopped, so I play with her a little bit, and she's kind of fun to play with too. Just general thoughts. The gear system feels very bland, and that's something that a lot of these previews that I actually read up on the past few days before the beta came out, they all kind of echoed that sort of sentiment, is that the gear system feels very simple, and it doesn't feel like it. You can't really feel the difference that much when you're playing the game. That, and you get a gear piece, and then you have to get a certain number of a resource to put on that gear piece, which feels a little weird to me. Because, if you have the gear piece, you should be able to put it on. You shouldn't have to add something to the gear piece to put it on. Another thing I did notice was they have a option for you to literally just hold down, I think it's like R2 or something, and then you just put on your best gear, like the highest powered gear that you have. So there's not a lot of variety to it, and it doesn't have a lot to it yet. I know they talked about in the trailer, or one of the trailers, I think it was the first war table actually, that some of the gear pieces will change the way your attacks look and things like that. So I think once we get more of the game and we're able to kind of get to that point, I think it'll be a lot more fun, the gear system. But what they showed in the beta so far is pretty basic and pretty bland. The combat is fun. It does feel a little simplistic, but at the same time, you're going to be fighting a lot of enemies at once at certain points, and you're going to need to use the dodge mechanic a lot, because a lot of those games that are just beat 'em up type of games, like the Arkham games, you're able to just nonstop bounce from person to person and keep hitting people nonstop, and you never have to dodge or do anything. Whereas, Avengers, I found myself having to, use the dodge feature a lot, because there's good variety of enemy types, and whether it's close combat or range combat, so it made it for an interesting blend of having to beat these melee enemies, and then having to close the distance on ranged enemies, and having to figure out how to beat them and things like that. So the gameplay is very fun. I actually really like the gameplay. I looked through the skill menu a little bit and saw that over time, there's going to be like more passive upgrades, and there's other upgrades that are going to give you new combos to use and things like that. And it's something to look forward to. They even said though that that's not even the full skill tree yet for the game. They didn't want to show off the full thing on beta, so there's going to be even more for you to unlock with these different characters. All in all, though, I liked what I played a lot. Again, the gameplay was really fun. Actually, my nephew was here earlier, and he was watching me play, and I gave him my PS3 controller that I have, and he was like getting all into it and all excited, and it was really fun. It was definitely fun. I like where the game's headed. I hope there's going to be a little bit more complexity to the gear system at launch. And I hope it's just that it's the fact that it's a beta that it feels limited and feels very bland. But the gameplay is really fun. I like what I've seen from the characters and the story so far. So it's definitely something I'm gonna be looking forward to on launch, especially when all those extra game modes come out, like the war zones, the drop zones, the hive things that we haven't even seen yet, the boss raids that we haven't even seen yet. So there's a lot to look forward to with this game, I think, and it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I'm really curious on kind of how they'll go with the gear system itself. One game I thought that honestly did a great job with their gear system in a superhero-based game was Injustice 2. They not only made it, stronger with having different types of gear. You could, this one would make you faster but weaker. This one would make you stronger but slower. And they kind of do all those kind of basic things there. But it also changed your complete appearance. And that's what I'm kind of was like hoping to kind of see with more like any sort of gameplay that I saw is, let's say you put this stuff onto Hulk. Well, now it makes him Gray Hulk or Red Hulk or Gladiator Hulk or this and that.
So they do have just straight up skins for the game.
Okay, yeah. So it's just a skin system. It's not a gear based system, correct? But like the gear doesn't change your appearance.
The gear doesn't change your appearance.
Okay.
From what I've experienced in the game, it didn't change your appearance. Like I said, in one of the trailers, they did show, it was Iron Man, they actually showed that some gears will change the way your attacks look. Okay. But they won't change the way your character looks. That's more for the skins.
Okay, which is understandable. I mean, games with skins help them, make money, so I do understand that. So I do want to keep my eye on it. I have always been a very big fan of course, anything Marvel, DC when it comes to video games. And, yeah, I'll just need to know a little bit more about it, and hopefully it doesn't get stale. That's my big concern. So I'm definitely glad to get to try it out and give us a little insight, though, for the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, even just having story missions to play right now, I think there's definitely still a lot there to have fun with. And I think once we get our hands on those extra game modes, I think that it'll definitely be a game that has a pretty good shelf life, especially knowing that they're going to be constantly adding new characters and new content, things like that.
All right. Awesome.
So last thing we have for you guys this week is our listener topic. So our listener topic for this week was, who was the first YouTuber that you heavily followed? So we'll go over your guys' answers first, actually.
Yeah.
I know we've got our boy Alex from TNC Movie Nights. He said Jacksepticeye and Game Grumps. Big fan of the Game Grumps.
It's funny, I actually never watched Game Grumps until meeting my girlfriend. She is crazy about Game Grumps, and they are fantastic. Hilarious. I'm so happy that I finally have started to watch them a little bit here and there. But yeah, no, honestly, two great choices. And then our buddy Mike Pop puts on here a fantastic choice, Machinima.
Machinima, oh man.
Oh goodness.
So funny story about Machinima actually is, so back when Machinima was literally just when it was first starting.
Yeah. And
Machinima was a term for, Red versus Blue, the Halo show that originally was just, people filming it in the game with a capture card. That's what Machinima was. It was people in like taking like in-game stuff and turning it into like a show. And Machinima used to have like a huge forum for content creators and people that wanted to, make machinima. And I talked to some dude and I started writing one for him. He wanted it to be like a racing themed machinima. And it never actually got to production, which was super sad. But it was like the old days of machinima was so cool.
Oh,
like,
goodness, yeah.
Having that community interaction, being a part of like, a really cool group of creators was really fun.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. There's been some great stuff to come out of machinima. The next one we'll jump into here is from Adam, and that is Vicstar. I know he's a very big Minecraft now. He's with the Sidemen, and I think he used to do a lot of Call of Duty, but I really can't remember myself, honestly, with Vicstar. I know Adam's been following him for a very long time himself, so definitely a good choice for him. And then, Manny, go ahead and tell us your fantastic choice for your YouTuber.
So mine's very different, Everybody's got, like a gaming person that they picked, but mine's very different. And it's from the early days of YouTube. He was actually like one of the first viral YouTubers, and that's Ryan Higa. If for those of you that may or may not have watched it, he was the guy that made the how to be ninja videos and how to be gangster videos from like 12 years ago.
Fantastic videos. He still makes some
super
really good
cool
ones.
guy. He's super cool guy,
yeah.
super funny. And now his production value is insane. It takes him like a good month or two for some of these videos, but he made like a Fortnite movie trailer that was like 6 minutes long that was just going through a whole game of Fortnite.
Oh,
And he's actually kind of transitioned more into the gaming side with COVID going on. Like he streams a lot. He's like friends with Pokimane and all those. There's like a group of them. I can't remember the name of their group, but like
Offline
there's a
TV.
bunch of people. Yes, offline. Like he's friends with all those people. Like they play Minecraft together. They play Valorant together now. Like really cool guy. Makes really funny videos. And yeah, that's my guy right there.
Yeah, fantastic choice. He's done some great stuff over the years, and definitely one of the OG YouTubers. He's great. He's very, very great. The one that I'm going to put on here is FaZe Jev. He was what got me into Call of Duty YouTubers and really into the Call of Duty scene again at one point. I'm sure like everyone has heard his video. He's the one screaming about getting blinded and freaking out in goodness, what Call of Duty game was it? I think it was Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, it was on Dome. Of him getting flashbanged and just freaking out. It's like the OG freak out clip, and that's what got me into him. He does a lot of rage tages and stuff like that, and he's just a great YouTuber, and just so different from me from all the other people I used to watch, because I used to watch a lot of very technical like montages and how to do this in Call of Duty, how to quick scope better, how to do that better, and he was just this funny guy. And definitely FaZe Jev is top of my list for me. All right. I think that wraps up our... Go ahead.
I was just watching a little bit of one of his more recent videos. He just has the look of like a goofy guy that rages at a video game.
I love it. Yeah, if you ever get the chance, if you haven't seen it, just go FaZe Jev raging about flashbangs on Modern Warfare 3, and it's probably one of the greatest 50 seconds you'll ever have in a... I just pulled it up, and great time. All right, yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for our listener topic this week for TNC Live episode 62. Manny, if you want to go ahead and introduce the listener topic for episode 63.
So, our listener topic for episode 63... we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. With Spider-Man coming to the Avengers game only on PlayStation consoles, we want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on, console exclusive content in games. They're like, for example, I saw there was a poll on IGN about it, and like 56% of people said they don't like it and they don't want it in games because they want to just be able to play the same game with the same content with all platforms. So give us your thoughts on that. Do you like the idea of having the competition between the systems, of having exclusive content? Do you not like it? Do you just want to be everyone be on the same, level of content, having the same content, or are you somewhere in the middle? Let us know.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into that. There's a lot of different things of it, a lot of different aspects, from not getting the content, getting it first, getting it second, or long time after. So yeah, definitely give us your thoughts on exclusivity when it comes to video games. That'd be great. But all right, I think that wraps it up for us then for today.
Yeah. I think that's everything we have for you guys. As always, we appreciate everybody that hung out today, all of our friends that watched the show. You guys have made this transition to Twitch for the live show really easy, and it's been really fun the past couple weeks. We really enjoy it. If you guys want to keep up with us, be sure to follow us on Twitter at The Nerd Chambers. Go like us on Facebook. Go follow us on Instagram. If you missed part of the show, we release it in podcast form the day after on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Stitcher, bunch of other places. If you're listening to us on one of those podcasting platforms, we stream the show live every Sunday on Twitch. So follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/thenerdchambers. And finally, check out our merch at spreadshirt.com/thenerdchambers.
And also, just to add real quick as well, if you guys didn't get to watch it on Twitch and you want to visually watch the show yourself, always check it out on YouTube. We're getting the shows up on YouTube as well at this point. And then, as of course we mentioned a little bit earlier, kind of just saying stuff in the show, TNC movie nights, we do have 2 videos coming out each week. We have our main episode and then a review of a movie. And yeah, definitely make sure to check that out. We do have a little very fun announcement coming up soon of our logo that we're getting done. We should have that very soon for you guys. So I'm very excited for everyone to get a look at that.
Be looking good.
It's
It'll
cute,
be
man.
looking good.
It's really cute.
It's looking good. And we are hoping to have announcements in the near future with new content